Hello and welcome to Fire of Learning. I'm Justin. We've all heard of New York, New Zealand, New Jersey, New Hampshire, etc. But where are Old York, Old Zealand, Old Jersey, Old Mexico? Well, I suppose you've likely heard of the last one, but regardless, in this video we'll talk about why there's a new one, as well as the origins of all the others listed here and more. So, let's get to it. Before we begin, I would like to thank Chris Krolikowski, Benjamin Taylor, Christian Herling, Esmeralda Melendez, Dolgun Gontumur, Kathleen Braden, and Yonel Mikkel for being our most recent supporters on Patreon. They join these supporters who make these videos possible. So let's start off with New Zealand. Now, if you were to ask most map makers, they probably haven't ever considered such a thing as an Old Zealand, considering they've apparently never heard of the new one. Zeeland, or Zeeland with two E's, hope I pronounced that right, is in the Netherlands. Though it was a British colony, and the largest ethnic group in the country is to this day descended from groups from the British Isles, the Dutch were the first Europeans to discover it in the 17th century. The name was later anglicized by the famous British explorer Captain Cook. New York. The original York is likely among the best known of these listed here, but not everyone outside the UK has heard of it. York is a city in northern England. It's a very ancient settlement dating back to at least 71 AD as Eboracum, where two Roman emperors died. To the Norse, it was Jorvik. To the Anglo-Saxons, it was known as Everwich, which, from Wessex, was about 3/4 of the way to Bebbanburg. Regarding New York, however, once again, the Dutch were there first, and on this occasion, they actually stayed, setting up a colony in 1624 called New Amsterdam, which, incidentally, makes New York the 12th oldest continuously inhabited European colony in the United States. However, in 1664, the city was captured by the English, and was renamed to New York, in honor of the Duke of York, the future King James II, brother of the then King Charles II, who was in charge of establishing the colony. Another side fact, he also had a Scottish title, the Duke of Albany. New Jersey. The original Jersey is a tiny island in between France and Britain, the crown dependency of the United Kingdom, with a modern population of around 100,000 people. The American colony received its name from the aforementioned King Charles, who named it in honor of the island that had welcomed him while he was exiled following the English Civil War. New Hampshire. Hampshire is in southern England, home to the city of Winchester, another very ancient settlement. It was named by Captain John Mason, the proprietary governor of Newfoundland in the 1620s. New Mexico. So again, I take it you've heard of Mexico, but what's the deal with the new one? The name actually even predates the foundation of Mexico itself as a nation, dating back to Spanish explorers who named the region in hopes that it would be a land of wealth, as Mexico was with the Aztecs. New Orleans. Harkening back to the days when the French ruled much of North America, New Orleans was one of their cities, named after the city of Orleans in northern France, but more specifically, the Duke of Orleans, who was the regent of France following the death of Louis XIV in 1715. La Nouvelle-Orléans was founded in 1718 as a part of France's intentions to take control of the Mississippi River and surrounding territory. The city became American following the Louisiana Purchase of the early 19th century. New Brunswick. The land of modern New Brunswick was originally inhabited by the French, however, it was later captured by the British. It was initially a part of the colony of Nova Scotia, which is Latin for New Scotland, by the way, but it became its own colony in 1784. Brunswick taking its name from the monarch of the age, King George III, who was a descendant of the House of Brunswick-Lüneburg. Brunswick, or Braunschweig, being a place in Germany, though it may be better known as Hanover. It later, of course, became its own province in modern Canada. New South Wales. Going back to Captain James Cook, who was exploring a continent that was originally discovered by the Dutch, at the time called New Holland, modern-day Australia. He called the territory New South Wales, after, of course, the country of Wales. In 1788, the British founded their first colony in the region, a settlement called Sydney. New Guinea. What Papua means is a subject of debate, but the original Guinea is in Africa. It was named in the 16th century by the Spanish explorer Íñigo Ortiz de Rotez because the dark-skinned native inhabitants of the island reminded him of the peoples he had encountered in West Africa. New Delhi. The original Delhi, which is actually called Old Delhi nowadays, was constructed in India by the Mughals and served as their capital until 1857. When the British took over the subcontinent, they decided that ruling India would be easier done from Delhi rather than the city of Calcutta on the east coast. However, rather than set up shop in Old Delhi itself, they constructed a new city. New Delhi is right next to Old Delhi, constructed specifically as the British capital of the country. The city remains the modern capital of India to this day. New Caledonia, once more a territory named by Captain Cook, after Caledonia, which is a more classical Latin name for Scotland. However, the islands would be colonized by the French around a century later, and remain in the hands of the French to this day. And so there we have it, the origins of many of the new places of the Earth explained. Maybe my great-grandchildren can revisit this topic when we've settled places throughout the solar system. Consider New York, capital of the American Martian colony. I thought that might be funny, but apparently I'm far from the first person to think of it. By the way, yes, this was a re-upload. I just wanted to fix some silly mistakes I made because I decided to record and edit the first video when my mind was off in space, basically. Nothing too major, I could have corrected it in the comments section, but, you know, I just want to be spitting facts here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I invite you to come check out the rest of Fire of Learning and to subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. We would appreciate donations on Patreon to help with the cost of producing these videos, the link to which you can find in the description. You can support the channel with as little as a $1 contribution. However, simply subscribing to our YouTube channel for free is also a large help. A special thanks to our Patreon supporters listed here. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, so come check us out there too. Thank you for watching.